23 hours and 38 minutes, the invasion started. Southern France, secret military base at Grenoble. General Janin lit the fifth cigarette for today, though he stopped smoking 30 years ago. Yellow teeth, heart disease, lung cancer, now all these made no difference. General watched the video where was recorded that Paris disappeared from the face of the earth. Fighters with aliens destroyed the armed forces of Earthlings in seconds, and descending pale green rays somewhere from heaven purified defenseless city from residents. Getting under those rays, people croaked in terrible pain and immediately stiffened, turning into creepy statues with wry faces and staring eyes. Suddenly, the video disappeared from the screen and the message about the incoming call from Captain Dupuy appeared. His usually neatly trimmed and late Charlie beard was disheveled, and always good-natured eyes got bloodshot and blazed furiously. At the sight of him, despite the tragedy of the situation, General couldn't help but smiled, and to hide misplaced sense, put a cigarette up to his lips and inhaled deeply.
General, Americans provided information on a large cluster of fighters with aliens in B-28 zone. There is also the alien flagship now. We also found out that they shut off the protective field. Russian report that there are 12 embattled missiles left, and they offer to put a powerful volley with all their remaining missiles. Americans support them in that decision, but they need some time to alert their mixed missiles. The other countries who still have strategic forces wait for general solution. Our government is completely destroyed, and the fate of France is now in your hands.
The launching of rockets allowed, and God help us.
Aye.
23 hours, 43 minutes, the invasion started. Russia, Ivanovo region. The armchair backrest groaned when Colonel Tykov leaned on it tiredly. Colonel, with unblinking sight, looked at the complex's remote control of intercontinental ballistic missiles of mobile and stationary base with nuclear warheads. With what discouraging speed and clarity the operation for invasion underwent. All military bases on the planet have been completely destroyed for a couple hours. Fatal, incredibly fast and maneuverable fighters with aliens were immune to land-based air defense. Fight with such enemy is the same as trying to shoot down the plane with a slingshot. When the invasion began, the colonel got order from the command center. Attack the enemy flagship with nuclear missiles on orbit. But every single warhead was stopped by some force shield protecting the flagship with impenetrable sphere. After this unsuccessful attack, alien fighters destroyed the naval strategic forces completely, including all submarines. Strategic aircraft was destroyed on the airfield without having a chance to rise into the air. And after rocket launch, silos were found and eliminated. Mankind loses outbreak of war with lightning speed. The silence was broken with a squeak of communicator.
The Commander of Duty Forces in 143 Missile Division of Strategic Missile Forces, Colonel Tykov. Colonel, it is the Central Command Post, General Vahrushev. Americans will be ready to volley in 15 minutes. What about you?
Yes, Comrade General. The calculation to prepare data for retargeting missile works. We have never had a target altitude. The estimated time of data availability is 6 minutes. Entering new flight data is 2 minutes. Launches in the areas of combat duty readiness in 2 minutes. On combat patrol routes readiness in 3 minutes, then start.
To hell details, Colonel. Set the heat to those bastards. And remember, this is the only chance. The battle order to start now will be obtained by automated control systems. The Americans and the French have only single-block warhead. They can be shot down by alien fighters.
Comrade General, our warheads have cloven battle blocks. We don't even need to hit exactly the ship because the explosion will be volume.
Go for it, Colonel, and remember that the result of your launch will determine the fate of mankind.
Colonel Tykov hung up and raised his eyes to the poster hanging on the wall. He who comes to us with the sword shall die by the sword. From the fingertips and throughout the body ran cold shivers, and on the right cheek suddenly a single tear rolled down. There was another ominous silence in the air, and Colonel Tykov suddenly felt all unprecedented responsibility and irreversibility of the situation. At the system control board lit inscription "Battle Mode." At the same time, the launch key's storage unlocked. Command Post Duty Colonel Blagov took one of the key and put it in the launcher panel hole. Oral countdown began. 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Simultaneous turn of the two keys issued command to launchers, messengers of retribution going to sky. 24 hours 10 minutes the invasion started. United States of America, city Abilene, Texas. The boy about 5 years old was sitting at the smoky ruins of his house. Yesterday afternoon, his entire family was murdered and the house burned down. The boy was sitting on the molten rim and was looking at the night sky through large holes in the roof. He didn't cry already, because tears ran out a few days ago along with the sunset. The boy looked at the stars and was waiting for God. He wanted to ask why God didn't take him with his family and left to sit here and watch the stars in the black night sky. Probably on that bright star his father sits now and watches him, thought boy. And on the next smaller one, his mischievous sister sits, dangling legs, teases and shows tongue as always. And here is mother, so beautiful, goes with bags from the store while talking on the phone and gives a sign to sister so she stopped grimacing. She is probably talking on the phone to God and says him that they forgot little Tommy at home and asks that God took him if it is not hard for him, and God agrees with his mother. Very soon God will return for him to take me with him. But house numbers the same as houses have been destroyed. How can God find Tommy in such a dark night? Suddenly the night sky over Texas lit up with a bright flash of light, and then it was joined by another and then another and another. A few seconds later, the outbreak began to bloom in the night sky, one after another, until it merged into a huge flaming ball. Little Tommy was watching the flaming skies with admiration. His heartbeat was faster and soul-filled joy, because he knew that God lit the sky to find little Tommy and take him to the new stars where his mom, dad and sister Sarah were waiting for him. Unprecedented fireworks ended in the starry sky, and the night enveloped the ruined city with the dark blanket again. Only one small but the brightest star continued to shine, getting bigger and brighter with every second. Little Tommy watched it without taking his eyes, and when the star became the size of the moon and the night was torn with a monstrous roar, Tommy had no doubt that God returned to take him on his stellar chariot. Then Tommy stood on tiptoe, threw his arms in different directions and whispered, "God, take me please to Mom and Dad and my harmful sister." After the ship and ground collision, there was a powerful explosion that shook the planet. This explosion was the initial point of reference for a new era, the era of unification of all people facing the threat of alien aggression.